podcast so nice you'll wanna watch it twice for Filmoscopy. Fuck.
That's what it sounded like.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Filmoscopy, a show where three friends discuss movies, and today's movie is going to be Scarface. And I came up with the idea to review Scarface for this episode after we had done lines of coke in the bathroom, all three of us, right after we recorded last episode. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump into
this is another pile of coke.
Another, yeah. We have to pull out another fucking Big Tony Montana mountain of coke to snort. Hold on, wait. All right. Let's jump into first interactions. How about that?
You might want to do intros too.
Oh yeah, I guess we should say hi. Okay. I'm Owen. Hi. I'll hand it off to Lance.
I'm Razor Ramon. Hello, everybody.
And then Cody.
Oh, fuck.
Big fucking pussy. Just waiting
To get fucked.
All right.
We got to tell a little side story real quick, Owen.
Okay, yeah.
When you started working at my location of work.
Our line of business.
Running
coke.
We ran cocaine. We didn't know what to do when we were counting up all the money. So we just kind of looked at each other and I went, this big town is like one big pussy. Wait till we get fucked. And you just started giggling and that was our thing.
Like pussy. We do that all the time now.
Yeah, because we didn't know what to say to each other. It's like one big puss. And then we got more comfortable with each other. And then, they allowed us to become general managers of the coke deal. Yeah. And then we blew the whistle on the whole operation, and now we're in witness protection.
Yeah, and now we... yeah, we're just in witness protection.
Yeah, so that's my name. My new name is Razor Ramon. Razor. I can't do the accent right now because I'm smiling, but yeah.
Your real names are Felipe and Francois, right?
Yeah. Who was the guy who got his arm cut off or got killed in the bathroom? In this movie, what was his name?
His name was Angel.
Angel. My name's Angel Holmes.
He's Angel. I love you so much, my brother. All right, let's.
Hey, Tony. All right, what about homosexuality? You like men? You like dressing like a woman?
Yes, man. I love that fucking boy pussy. Just waiting to get fucked. Hey, man, do you want some boy pussy?
Look, I gotta get this one thing out because I literally rewound these two scenes like multiple times to hear it. And when he was when they're on the bus going to that, kind of like almost like a concentration camp, he's like, "Why don't you just keep your mouth closed? They would have thought you were a horse. They let you out." And then when he chases the dude out on the street, he goes, "Your turn!" And he shoots
dude, I never knew he fucking said that. I was watching with subtitles because I couldn't really hear because my TV is a piece of shit, as you heard earlier, where it goes, "Wee, wee, wee, wee." Don't fucking buy plasma screens ever.
I had trouble with the audio in this movie too. Like, a lot of times it just felt like the audio was mixed down a lot. So I'm like straining to hear what they're saying. On top of Al Pacino sounding like he swallowed his tongue when he's talking.
Yes.
Did you? That was the actual one I rented though, right? That wasn't a crappy version.
No, yeah, you rented like the high def, like I guess. Most recent remaster of it.
But, I thought maybe I fucked up. I'm like, I apologize, Cody.
No. I think it's just the way that the audio's mixed in the movie.
Yeah. A lot of old movies are just mixed kind of weird, where like the action's really loud, but the dialogue's kind of, I don't know. I guess it's built for like movie theaters or some shit. But I guess they didn't think you would watch it on like, I don't know,
they couldn't predict the technology we got.
Yeah, I don't think that was
your turn.
Brought into consider. Yeah, but I was watching it with subtitles on, and I'd seen that scene, multiple times, and I never knew that he like got out and was like, "Hey, your turn!" And fucking just shot him in the head. I literally giggled. I was like, "Oh my god! I never knew he said that." That's fucking hilarious.
That 4 times.
He's like, "Hey, asshole, your turn." But that was fucking awesome. But we were talking about the big pussy line and talking about dialogue in this movie.
We saw a pussy. And
we did see a pussy.
Yeah, there's 2 pussies in the house right now.
They made a cut for TV where they changed some of the dialogue.
Oh, no.
In this movie. So the big pussy line, "This town's like a big pussy, just waiting to get fucked." It is changed in like the TV edit to be, "This town is like a big chicken waiting to get plucked." This town. The other
is waiting to get plucked.
The other line that they change is when the guys are talking to him and they point out a scar and they're like, "Where'd you get this? Eating pussy?" And he's like, "How'd I get that eating pussy, man?" They changed the line to, "Where'd you get this? Eating pineapple?" And he's like, "How would I get that eating pineapple, man?"
That is incredible.
Yeah.
I wanted to watch that version now.
Big chicken just waiting to get plucked.
A friend of mine, Carrie, said he had a DVD version of this before where it actually had like a fuck counter and a body count counter that popped up on the screen.
Is that on yours, Owen?
No.
Oh, okay. Owen had it on DVD too.
I don't have that though.
Yeah, he because apparently this movie was like it had the record for a while of like the entertainment product that had the most fucks in it.
Yeah, there's a fuck every an average time of every 50 seconds, I think.
And then Fred Durst wrote the song "Hot Dog" and broke that record.
Well, I think well, if you're counting movies, this may still hold the record, but I know Mafia 2, the video game, actually broke the record for entertainment product with the most fucks in it.
It's funny because I don't even remember that game having that many F-bombs in it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's all over the place.
We do use the word fuck like it's water, though.
Yeah, I think our entertainment product has broke the record.
Oh,
actually.
yeah. We count our shit. I mean, that's like the biggest thing is like, you guys use the word fuck a lot. And I'm trying not to. Owen's a bad influence on me.
Yeah. I'm like a gangster who drags.
It's because Owen's always trying to channel Tony Montana.
Yeah,
I thought when you said drag, for some reason I just for some reason imagine you scooting your ass on the carpet like I'm dragging my ass on the carpet like you got worms or something.
Back in.
God, I got worms and itch just so bad. That's what he's doing right now. I want to get off the carpet.
Anyways, let's start with some first impressions. I'll go ahead and hit it off. Or not first impressions, but first interactions with this movie. First
experience.
I met it on the street.
first experience.
I met it on the street. I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you doing?
Hey, big pussy, what the fuck? But I had seen this movie. I think you could probably go back and say my first experience is probably Grand Theft Auto Vice City because that game's basically a big ripoff of Scarface.
Oh, yeah.
But my first time seeing it, I think I was like 7, which is pretty bad, I guess.
Nah.
But, I grew up in Florida, so this movie was kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of a big deal, especially with, like, my mom grew up in Miami and stuff, so.
When were you born again, 2000?
Yeah. Post, like, it had definitely already become a cult classic.
The thing was,
just,
like, when I was in high school, which, it's just funny because you would have been, like, 5 years old. I graduated in 2006. Around that time, a lot of it kind of they always wore a lot of Scarface.
Yeah,
stuff.
It got like repopular in the 2000s.
Yeah,
especially.
So right around the time you watched it was hitting its peak, especially here in Hicktown.
It's funny. I wasn't really planning on bringing up that how it's like popular with like hip hop stuff, but it's funny that it is because it's like I don't know. It's a movie like that's just so negative about the criminal life and shit. That, it's like a lot of times hip hop subculture like is like this movie's about making it, man. But it's I think Tony's a dick.
I think in the early 2000s when this became like a real big icon for hip hop. A lot of hip hop at the time was about just living fast, getting rich, dying young. That's pretty much the story of Tony Montana, right? I mean,
yeah, I guess it's 1-to-1. But I would say like I probably watched it for the first time when I was 7. And with my grandparents, they lived in Miami, so I'd go down there and visit it every time. And just I don't know, something clicked with this movie. I've always liked crime movies and like gangster movies and shit. But just the added like 1980s Miami setting was just like, goddamn, this is so great. Because the thing that's really cool about this movie is that like it's not. You know how we have this thing now where where movies that take place in the 80s, they're like, look how 80s we are and shit. But this movie was just so like naturally 80s. It just like the producers made this movie and they just wanted to make a remake of the 1932 Scarface set in modern times. And the funny thing is that they made it so like contemporary to like where they were, that the movie is so like dated now and so like 1980s, like the disgusting. Yeah,
it's very authentic.
There's like the shitty leisure suits that everybody wears and like the fucking.
I was actually going to bring that up. It's like it's very 80s, but it's not the kind of 80s you really like to look at. It's like really tacky 80s.
Yeah, it's the really ugly 80s. Like, cause like modern 80s, everybody's like, oh, it was I don't know. They're like
it was like neon and all that kind of stuff is
lights,
what people
weird hair
like to look
colors.
back at.
yeah,
Not
like
the
not like the really ugly suits and shit, like the like
tiger print shirts and all that.
yeah,
crap.
and the gaudy looking Cadillacs and stuff like that, and the big ass Rolexes.
That stuff, what you're talking about, like the Cadillac, like the Tiger stuff, that almost was like a holdover from the 70s.
Yeah, because this was
movie 83.
83, yeah. So like this was early 80s, so like everything's very
still like holding on to. I mean,
Yeah.
I still wear parachute pants. And it's been 15 years. I mean, come on, people. And the funny thing was, like, this movie came out later than it did, but this came out the same year as Psycho 2, and they both have Ray Loggia.
Yeah.
Robert Loggia. Whatever his name. Robert Loggia. I don't know Ray. The guy, he's the guy with the really bad comb over and the mustache in one. He's Frank. He was the therapist in Psycho 2 trying to help Norman.
Yeah.
So, and he said that he credited Psycho 2 with giving him the breakout performance, and obviously everybody remembers from Scarface, but Psycho 2 is the first one he did, and he went into Scarface.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
which was kind of cool.
I'll pass off first experiences to you, Lance.
I'd never seen this movie all the way through. I've seen bits and pieces, and I heard my parents talk about it when I was younger. But my first interaction with anything to do with it is the Razor Ramon character from WWF television, performed by Scott Hall, Ayo Chico. He said in interviews that he's done throughout the years, he's always admitted that when he was meeting Vince McMahon to try to get a contract, he pitched an idea about this character, and they had never seen Scarface before, so he started doing you need me so you can point your stinking finger and look at the fans and say, see, that's Razor. He's the bad guy. And all this other stuff. They just thought he was a fucking genius. So that was like, because they had never seen the movie, so that's how he got his gig. And that character,
Academy Award. Damn, it's so good.
It's funny, but okay, of course, the way he was dressed up was like really over the top for wrestling, obviously. But that's where he stole the character from. But that's my first interaction. That's my first experience with the subject material.
You've never seen it before. This is his first time.
This is my first all the way through time. Yeah, I'd seen bits and pieces, like the ending, like say hello to my little friend.
Say hello to my little cock.
And that, we'll get into it. Like the only thing I don't like about this movie later on, but the scene where his sister's coming through and she's like, "Come on, Tony, you want me, don't you?" That shit was fucking weird.
Oh,
I had seen that scene, but I'd never seen the context of it.
She was
before.
very high on pills and shit. So
yeah, but the whole thing, Tony did have a weird incest thing with her.
yeah, well, he has like a father thing with her because
that ain't no father thing.
We'll get into that, but I disagree about your opinion with that scene.
You like that scene?
Yeah, I thought it was one of the best scenes in the movie. It just felt like it had a lot of emotional impact because she was doing fine before Tony came back or came to America from Cuba, and he just completely ruined her life. But we'll get to it.
They got some money.
To give me some money. Yeah, but it was like fucking evil drug money. I mean, they get into like
her problem was she came around it.
The thing with this, I don't know if in the original 1932 version they had like this plot. He did have a sister in the original 1932, but they didn't have this thing where it's like, because in the original 1932 he's like a Sicilian gangster and shit, but I don't think they had this kind of like sort of side thing where it's like his mother's like, oh, you're giving Sicilians a bad name. And that was kind of like, I think they wrote that into this one because, when this movie was coming out, a lot of the Cuban American
was actually going
community.
On.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like, the cocaine shit and stuff was happening, and there was, killings in Miami and shit. Miami was like the worst it had ever been. It still is bad. But the Cuban American community was like, hey, this movie's like, inaccurately portraying Cubans and shit. So I think they just threw like her mother in there to be like, there are hardworking Cubans and shit, and she doesn't want the money or anything like that because it's like blood money.
What about you, Cody?
Yeah, what were you saying?
Like your first experiences with the movie.
I'm sort of like you, Lance, where I'd seen bits and pieces of this growing up on TV. The only scenes I really remembered was the scene where he's in the hot tub and getting in an argument with his wife. And the scene at the end, you know, the iconic, you know, say hello to my little friend scene, and he comes out and gets killed. And of course, Vice City ripped that scene off. Like the last scene in Vice City's story is basically that.
Yeah. You're in your big mansion and like a bunch of guys are invading. The only difference is that you win.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Scarface game too. In the beginning, it's like a spin-off. The Scarface game for PlayStation 2. It's like it sets you during that last scene, and you can like turn around and kill the guy with the shotgun.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I always thought it was kind of dumb because like the whole point of Scarface is that he's basically like fucked his life up. Like his little sister that he loves is dead. His best friend's dead. Like, you know, there's like really no way for him to rebuild. But that it's kind of like fan fiction. But whatever.
That's kind of like in the Cody's told me about it. Excuse me. The Thing video game, Cody. It's like it picks up. You're trying to go find the greedy, and it's like a PlayStation 2 game. But this whole thing, you find Childs is there, and he actually turns into a thing, and then at the end you get rescued by McCready. It's like a whole thing you go explore.
Yeah,
it
kind of
like
ruins the ending for the Thing.
Yeah, it kind of ruins the whole point of it, and that's Scarface. I understand why they did it.
Yeah, I like that Scarface game. It's good, and it's fun to just play around as Tony Montana, and like it's like a fun little like.
Is that actually voiced by Al Pacino too?
No, there's an impersonator. Al Pacino at that point, you know, his fucking voice was all fucked up because it was the early 2000s.
Yeah.
What
is his Does he look back at this movie fondly, or does he kind of resent this movie for?
I'm not entirely sure. I mean, this isn't the movie that put him on the map, though. So I mean, that was like Godfather.
But is it something like, especially in like the mid 2000s, was it something you got fucking tired of? Like, I mean, I'm just saying, like Bruce Willis, I've heard is a dick about Die Hard. He hates being that like that. And you know, Anthony Perkins hated this whole Psycho thing. Yeah, and that was just something that came to mind. I was like, I wonder what Al Pacino's like.
Yeah, I've never heard of anything about Al Pacino, like disowning this
really.
movie. I can look it up, but I mean, you know, he's made like references to it, like and stuff before. Like I said, this wasn't like his sole, you know, thing. Like Reservoir Dogs, I think, came out before this, and there was Godfather, of course. So he was already like he had already won Academy Awards.
When does Godfather 2 come out?
Godfather 2, I think it was.
Was it before this as well?
Let me take a look. Godfather,
because he looks. I mean, I can't remember when the first Godfather was, but he looks so much older in this.
Very old in this one,
like very aged, not in a good way. I'm like his skin's like really already like.
Godfather 2 was 1974.
Oh wow, okay, so that's a whole another 8 years before this movie.
When did the first movie come out?
71.
71.
I think.
And then I think Godfather 3 was like in the early 90s.
Yeah, that was like 92 or 94 or something like that.
Yeah, he had already gotten way old. I mean, I'm not saying, I'm not, because he probably ages better than me, but, you know, it's just one of those things.
Hoo-ah!
Hoo-ah! Yeah, I'm not going to get into that commercial.
So both of you have not seen this movie before.
All the way through, yeah. It was like a very straight through.
That's really interesting. I thought Cody had seen this movie at least like one whole way through before.
No, it was always just bits and pieces on TV.
It was something I stayed away from because I didn't like because it was so popular during high school.
Yeah.
I guess I had a more hipster attitude then.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, it's popular, I don't want to deal with it. It was just something like, yeah, that doesn't suit me. I'm not really big in like the crime mafia movies.
Yeah.
Unless, I mean, it's like if I had a friend like you and we weren't doing a podcast, I might watch it. Like, let me see if I can like fucking do that. The only reason I started watching like westerns and military movies because my dad liked it, so I was trying to bond with him. So it's not something that was really big for me. Does that make sense? You know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm not drawn to that. I like more. I mean, everything really. I try to be open-minded more about movies now I'm older. Owen said I was a couple days ago. He's like, hey, you were surprisingly open-minded, I guess, for an old bastard.
We were having an argument about The Shining, Stanley Kubrick's.
Yeah, how much I hate that movie now.
Yeah, that movie sucks. It's very overrated.
I mean, I think it's overrated, but I still think it's a great movie.
I mean, Cody's seen Dr. Sleep too, right, Cody? Yeah. We watched that together, didn't we? I think you rented it.
I think I rented it, yeah.
I think I watched it because I ended up buying it. We had a discussion. What they did to Jack's character in Stanley Kubrick's version. I mean, you watch that movie by itself, it's fine. But then you watch Dr. Sleep.
That's my whole point is that, like, this movie... Yeah, no, Stanley Kubrick's The Shining stands up on its own. I mean, he does that with, like, every book he's adapted. He's made such, like, broad changes.
Oh, no, I'm not like... like shitting on it. Watching Doctor Sleep and talking to Alex, shout out to Alex and his podcast, I'll Take Three. For Doctor Sleep, in the book, there's a happy reunion between Danny and Jack. And you don't get that in Doctor Sleep because of what he did to Jack's character in the original Shining movie. So for me, being more story-driven with these movies, like what's going on with the characters, not so much movie quality, it made me just hate The Shining in that moment. The Shining is an incredible movie by itself, but story-wise, I just can't stand it anymore because I know it's so different, and they make Jack so unlikable. And there is there's that scene that is not in Scarface that we're supposed to be talking about, but in Doctor Sleep where he has the interaction, and there's just you wish that he would sit there and say, "I miss you, son," or something, and it just doesn't. Cody knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but I feel like that's completely director of Doctor Sleep's fault. I don't think that's Stanley Kubrick's fault. I mean, you could say that I
would like to cover The Shining at some point. I mean, I
guess we should save this
for a lot of good discussion about it. So
yeah.
Right after we do Twilight. No, I'm just kidding.
Better love story than Twilight.
The Shining is a better love story than Twilight. Jack falls in love He falls in love with all those ghosts better than fucking what's his name does with Bella. What Edward? I can't remember.
Jack falls in love with that disgusting creature that comes out of the bathtub in one of the rooms.
That is a more beautiful kissing scene than Bella and Edward in Twilight, okay?
Jack off, bro.
All right. Get back to Scarface. We had our first impressions, and
did you guys want to
release date and box office and all that?
Okay, if you want that, yeah. So
yes,
Scarface.
I do want that, Owen.
I don't want that.
No, keep it a mystery. This is what they'll be expecting.
Scarface came out in 1983. It is a remake of a 1932 film of the same name.
Have you ever seen the original film?
I have. I've seen clips of the original film, and the story is pretty much, very similar.
This town is a pussy. See, waiting to get fucked.
He's like, yeah, this town's a big pussy, just waiting to get fucked. There's that's like a mafioso kind of Italian gangster film. It's pre-code. So it had tons of violence in it, and it was pretty ahead of its time for the 1930s because it was contemporary also because the Prohibition was going on and it was about that.
I wonder. I just had because I think the original Dracula movie came out in 32 or 33. I could just find it funny that these two pictures might be shooting on the same lot or something. Like Dracula is children of the night,
and these are big pussies.
And the big pussies. See?
I don't think they actually curse in the original one, but
hey, it's pre-code and pre-COVID, so
yeah. But that movie had some trouble with censors too, same as this one. But we'll get into that later. When it opened, it was when Scarface, the 1983 film, opened, it was kind of a critical failure. It didn't really review very well with a lot of critics.
I could imagine with those fucking fucks.
Yeah, a lot of people. No, Roger Ebert loved this movie. He gave it 4 out of 4 stars and said it was great.
Really? It gets my little boner just raging.
He's like, I loved it. Well, Siskel, I think this movie is fucking amazing. And it's like a big pussy just waiting to get fucked.
First time we ever cussed on the
program. It'll allow my penis to get to a whole 3.5 inches.
He's like, I'm so horny for this film and Michelle Pfeiffer's nice little titties that I'm going to give this movie 5 out of 4 stars.
Is that the fat one?
Yeah, Roger Ebert's the fat one.
I can never remember what you're talking about. So what about Siskel? I wonder what he thought about it.
I don't know what Siskel thought about it. I've never seen their
Siskel
reviews.
never talked.
He would always just let Roger Ebert fucking shit all over any movie, and he'd be like, well, Raj, that's not very fair. And he's like, shut up. He's like, shut up.
Like his Lethal Weapon. Come on, Raj.
He's like, shut up, Siskel, you fucking idiot.
You do the voice of a fat nerd.
That's what he fucking sounded like. I swear to God. Let's not speak ill of the dead, I guess.
Are they both dead?
Yeah, they're both dead.
What a shame.
But when it.
Let's give them let's give everybody their the addresses to their cemeteries so you can go piss on their grave.
I like Siskel though.
I'm just talking about the whole Betsy Palmer thing. Remember? Here, write letters to her because she shouldn't be in this Friday the 13th movie and she was terrible. And all this other crap. So I was like, yeah, fuck them.
I feel like that was a Roger Ebert probably led.
I think it was both of them. You're like everything negative. Like it's gotta be Roger.
It's gotta be Roger. I like Siskel. I thought he was. I usually
Siskel. He's a fucking angel.
I usually agreed with Siskel for the most part.
Now, come on, Siskel. I'm
Now,
due for my enema.
I'm just curious. Did you ever watch the clips on YouTube, or just stuff that he's written that you read? Because they do have clips of their show from.
Yeah,
on
I've
YouTube.
read some of the like reviews that Roger Ebert like published on his website, but
Okay.
I think didn't Gene Siskel die before like the internet like kicked off really?
Maybe. Well, see, I know that they used to have a 30-minute show or an hour show that would run, where they would review. This is on primetime television. They'd review all the new movies, and like I've seen clips of it on YouTube, and that's where I've seen like the Psycho 2 review, the Friday the 13th, a few others. I'm just like, I don't like Ebert.
Yeah. But anyway, back to Scarface. Okay. So it had a budget $23.5 to $37 million.
What?
Yes.
They spent that much money on this movie?
I mean, they have like some of the shooting takes place in like Ronald Reagan's like fucking like presidential like house or it's the Reagan estate in Miami and shit. Like, you know, like fucking yeah, and then they have like all-star cast shit. Well, Michelle Pfeiffer
cocaine.
Yeah, and the cocaine that they snorted.
That was a lot of powdered sugar they had to buy.
I don't know how drug-infused the shooting... Well, it was the early 80s. I know the writer, while he was writing this movie, he was, like, on coke and going to, like, Bolivian shit to go see, like, drug lords and shit. But when he was writing it, like, sitting down and writing it, he was getting himself clean. So the writer had, you know, experience on the ground with this kind of shit. But
I just didn't expect that much money. I figured it would be like a lower budget because the quality wasn't that great.
Well, I mean, it's an early 80s movie.
Yeah, but Godfather looked a lot better, though. And that was 71. Yeah. I'm just saying. This is my opinion.
Yeah. It made back $66 million, so it did pretty well despite the critics mostly shitting on it. But this movie kind of has like a weirdish history. It's directed by Brian De Palma. He was brought on later. Like the genesis of the idea of creating this movie basically goes to its producer by the name of Martin Bregman, and he wanted to do a remake set in modern day, a modern day retelling of the 1932 Scarface. And so he got Oliver Stone to write it, and then after Oliver Stone wrote it and had like his big coke binge and stuff, they got Brian De Palma, who I think was fresh off of... Shit, what did Brian De Palma direct before this? I don't know. I know the writer of this, the one thing he wrote before this, he wrote fucking Conan the Barbarian with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I was so hoping you were saying, like, De Palma wasn't the original director. The first director was going to be George Lucas, and he backed out.
George Lucas. That is funny because Steven Spielberg has like a couple of guest director shots in this. Like, when all the like gang members are coming to Tony's big mansion and they're like storming the front door, Steven Spielberg was on set that day and he directed a couple shots of like the gangsters. Usually there's like a low angle shot of them bursting through the front door, and that's like one of the shots that Steven Spielberg directed. Wow. So fun little tidbit.
What a dumb thing! Like, hey, Steven, you wanna film this 2 seconds of the movie for us?
He was friends with Brian De Palma, and he was just on set. And he was like, they didn't have like they had like fucking so long to do all these shots of these just gangsters because Al Pacino was like out sick or something. So Brian De Palma was like, hey, Steven, you want to just shoot these gangsters with me?
Well, I mean, Cody, if you think that's really dumb, I mean, he's just letting his friend help him out on the job. Yeah. If you want to come by my store and help me stock grocery, Cody, I'll hand you my box card. Like, hey, you take over a little bit, buddy.
Yeah, we won't credit you or anything.
I won't give you any credit for it. My boss will be like, hey, did you get all that done? I sure did. I had no help.
Well, that's a weird way to phrase that, Lance. What do you mean you had no help?
Oh, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I just jump out the window.
Bye.
Bye. Pizza time.
But yeah, despite the shitty critical reception,
all my rage,
I'm still just a rat in the cage. Despite this shitty critical reception, it became a cult classic as we know it today. I think everybody, or most people, have seen this movie and have heard about it at least. And everybody knows fucking "Say hello to my little friend." And he pulls out his dick. Don't ever fuck me, Tony. It'd be funny if they just cut to like a after he said that, just Tony like fucking him in the ass.
This is a Spielberg shot.
He did this. He's like,
this is a George Lucas shot. He was also upset.
He's like, oh, Sosa, you little cocksucker. He's like,
oh,
don't ever fuck me, Tony. He's like, I'm sorry, Sosa. I have to.
And he's like,
the ice never lied, Chico.
And George Lucas is like, you know what? This is a good idea to have teddy bears in my fucking Return of the Jedi movie.
Let's put some CGI in this.
This actually came up the same year as Return of the Jedi. Never mind, that wouldn't work. Excuse me.
No, did this come out the same year as Return
83.
of the Jedi? Oh, that's
83
crazy.
was a pretty decent year. Yeah.
That's funny. But, yes, it stars Al Pacino and a pretty good role. I think he does a good job. What do you guys think? Do you like his performance in this?
I think he's fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, my only complaint is like I said earlier. I mean, it sounds like he's swallowing his tongue sometimes, but
yeah. Sometimes
he
his
does
like
really
normal his normal accent will slip through like in some scenes, and it's like I can hear normal Al Pacino in there, but sometimes he's pretty convincing.
Yeah. I was telling Owen this off camera. Off microphone. We were doing a porno
On the casting couch.
I'm sorry, this was a Spielberg shot, okay?
The cum shot.
Spielberg
cum shot.
Spielberg's like, aim it for the camera. So great. No, I was telling him, it felt like in this movie that everybody knows that they're in a movie but Al Pacino, and he's just given free reign of whatever the fuck he wants to do. And then everybody has to act their lines in reaction to him.
Was that your complaint that you had?
No. That's not my complaint.
Oh, okay.
I think it's fine. I jokingly compared it to Venom because that's what Tom Hardy did. He improvised a lot. I feel like there's a lot of improv on Al Pacino's part with the script, just taking it and putting his own twist on it, and then everybody having to react to him with their lines. So it's almost like that with like the whole Venom thing with Tom Hardy, and then everybody had to just act towards him, not so much the movie.
Yeah,
I can see that. Like at the end, whenever he he's like, "Okay, you want to play?" or whatever he says before he blows up the door, and then he says it again. It's like, were you supposed to say that multiple times? You just like forget your lines, or what's going on here?
I think all that shit was probably just ad-libbed.
It took them forever to try. They didn't even get to that door. Like, these motherfuckers are storming the castle, quote unquote, and they're just standing at his door, and they're waiting for him to blow them up.
They're like, "Please do it." Yeah, they didn't masochists. They didn't shoot the lock or anything. The saddest part about that scene is that his little friend Chi-Chi dies. I love that little guy.
Yeah, but he wouldn't let him in either.
Yeah, what a piece of shit. Fuck you, Tony.
No, was Chi-Chi?
Tony's a giant piece of shit in this movie.
Yeah,
just
he's a piece of shit.
Yeah,
what was of caca.
What was his friend's name again? Chi-Chi?
Yeah, Chi-Chi's this little tiny guy.
Yeah,
he always wears the fedora.
Was he with them? Was he one of the four?
Yeah, he was there since the little camp. I forgot what the fuck those camps are called. Liberty camps?
Freedom Village.
Yeah, something like that.
I couldn't remember.
Freedom
I was like
Town
Happy City or some bullshit.
Yeah. We can talk about the like kind of historical fucking like
because it started out. I mean, they were
movie.
trying to. I think that they accomplished it.
Yeah.
It said the whole like Cuban thing where Fidel Castro was releasing like 150,000 Cubans across the borders, but he was sending a lot of his prisoners.
Yeah. Yeah, he did send a lot of prisoners. There's some
which is smart. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah,
like, let's get rid of the shit.
But there's like a little bit of like kind of, I wouldn't say controversy, but there's like some discrepancies with like how many like of the prisoners that he sent were like violent prisoners.
I mean, they're in prison for a reason, though.
Yeah, but it was like communist Cuba, so like you could go to prison just for like being like, I don't know.
Yeah, you could be like, I don't agree with what Castro's saying.
Yeah,
right
and then they'll
now.
just throw you in
prison for it.
Yeah. So, but I mean, there were supposedly a lot of violent criminals that were sent over, but not as many as are reported in this film. A lot of the criminals are thought to have just been, like low time, like political prisoners or something. But I mean, there was an increase in crime during the Mariel boat lift crisis, or directly afterwards. So I don't know. But anyways, this story does follow the. This was like 3 years after the Mariel boat lift crisis, so it's pretty contemporary for the movie. And the main character is a Marilito, I think is how you say it. Marilito, y'all. Tell you what, motherfucker.
I'll tell you what, that watering hole.
But yeah, so it's pretty interesting historically. growing up in Miami, you know, it's kind of shit. I don't even know where I'm taking this, guys.
No, it's like, well, you were born in Indiana, right? But raised in
No,
Jacksonville?
I was born in Jacksonville.
Okay, your family's from Indiana.
My family's from Indiana. They moved down to Miami like in the 90s. So my mom's side, both sides are from Indiana. My mom's side moved down to Miami in the 90s. So they had been there since the 90s. And Mom kind of grew up in Miami as well. I've also lived in Miami for a little while. So, like I said, this movie's like kind of like, I don't know. That's why I have kind of a special connection with this movie, because I think it portrays.
Well, you're also a drug lord.
Yeah, I'm also a criminal mastermind drug lord. I'm also. Never mind.
What are you gonna say? No, go ahead and say it. He can edit it out. It's fine. Don't leave things unsaid.
For some reason, I was gonna be like, I'm also Cuban.
He can leave that in.
Why would you think that would upset anybody?
I don't know. He's pretending. That's cultural appropriation.
My weirdly timed serious questions though, because I know you're like from Jacksonville.
Yeah.
So
here's my
as
social
a redneck
security.
from Tennessee.
Yeah.
I think everything in Florida is just like sunshine and beaches and palm trees and shit like that. I don't know any better.
Mostly shit.
Is it mostly?
Yeah.
I was just going to ask you, it's like, well, like, what is your?
It's very
experience
pretty.
Like, to Miami and all that.
Yeah, like the thing about because I was thinking about this while I was watching the movie. It's like this is a very glamorized view of Miami, of course, and there are parts of Miami that are very pretty. The beaches are pretty. I love palm trees, and you know I miss shit like that about Florida. But it is just a really like shitty place. Like there's a lot of crime. Miami's basically like a fucking hovel. Miami's like it's like a
lot of slum.
There's like really high rise, like there's really nice looking shit. You know, I've been to South Beach and stuff. You know, even South Beach has like if you go like down an alley in South Beach at night, you're gonna get like mugged by a homeless guy. You know, that is something that is funny about this movie is that there's like those scenes in South Beach, and I was like, where's all like the fucking massive crowds of people and the terrible fucking traffic? Because I've been to South Beach, and yeah, it's fucking awful. There's like a million people down there, so you can't really enjoy yourself. I've also been to the hotel where that scene with the chainsaw is shot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a CVS now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they changed it to a fucking CVS. But I think I forget what the hotel right next to it to that where they shot that is, but that's the same. But yeah, the on-location shooting was always really cool to me because, like, you know, I lived in Miami, so I was like, dude, I recognize all this shit, kind of. Some of the shit's shot in L.A.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, I hadn't realized that. So
was any of this shot on a soundstage? Because there were some shots, like exterior shots, that looked like they were on a soundstage.
I don't think any of it was. The only things I know that they shot some things in L.A. Those might have been on sound stages, but I don't know. I know all the Miami shit's on location. The only time where I noticed any like weird echo or anything was in the scene where they're counting the money. That's the only time.
Which scene are you talking about? Like the one with where he gets popped?
Yeah, where he gets busted. Yeah,
oh, okay.
That's the only time I noticed some weird like echo shit.
So like. Going back to the Florida thing real quick, sorry. So like the whole Miami thing, so it's really like a 40-60 split. 40% of it's like really beautiful like you see, and then the rest of it's just kind of like... Because,
yeah, for every like South Beach, you're going to have like, for every South Beach neighborhood or something like that, or like northeastern Coconut Grove, which is mentioned in this. It's funny that Coconut Grove is like, she's in the Grove, how'd she get all that money? But like half of Coconut Grove is like shitty ghetto. But
okay.
Yeah, it like there's fucking one neighborhood called Liberty City, which is like it's funny that's called Liberty City, so it's like Grand Theft Auto. But anyway, but it's like a fucking third world country almost. Like it is just terrible. Like the crime rate's really high. I know somebody. There's a family friend we have who's from Liberty City, and he'll always talk about how shitty it was. But yeah, Miami's like it's basically kind of like another country. There's things about it that are really cool and are really interesting, and it's got definitely its own like kind of like flavor and shit, like, but you know there's like just a lot of like shittiness to it. I don't know.
Interesting. I was just curious because
I miss Cuban sandwiches though. They fucking show a little Cuban sandwich sign in this movie, and I'm like, God damn, I could go for one of those.
Well, damn, you can get Cuban sandwiches in Nashville.
Yeah, you could, but they're not good.
Well, there's an actual Cuban cafe.
Yeah, but it's probably expensive as fuck. Every restaurant in Nashville is expensive.
Now, I don't want this to come across as racist.
Yes.
This is a question about coffee.
Uh-huh.
Now, Cubans, do they have their own coffee?
Yeah, there's Cuban coffee, which is like this little shot glass of coffee. My granddad drinks it all the time.
But you have to drink it like that because anything more is going to make you like crap yourself.
Yeah, I think so. They put like a lot of caffeine in it. It's fucking nasty.
Really? I think I heard it like
it's
originally.
Fucking gross.
Have you tried Colombian coffee?
Lance brought up the crap yourself because ever since we've been talking about this movie, I've had The Weeknd stuck in my head. Because like a lot of his newer songs are like just rip off 80 music. I mean, they don't rip anything off, but they're very much inspired by like the 80s sound.
Yeah, everything kind of went full circle with that.
And I was thinking about drinking not too much of that coffee, and then the part in Blinding Lights where it's like, ooh. I don't know why that's so funny.
Blinded by you shit.
I remember somebody making a joke like he wanted Colombian coffee. I think it was Colombian, maybe not Cuban. He's like, Colombian coffee. And the guy's like, he gives him that little cup. He goes, no, I need a bigger cup. And it's just really expensive.
Cuban
so he goes, it's like $99 for this cup of coffee. I drunk it, and then I crap myself. And then I can't remember how the bit was. But
yeah, Cuban coffee is always given to you in these little tiny plastic cups usually.
Because I saw him when they were doing, when he got to Miami, and they were doing the
dishes.
The dishes. He was taking like a sip of a little coffee, like a little tiny cup. I saw that.
This is a little Cuban coffee, dude.
Yeah, which is cool. But
yeah,
Tony was. He could definitely tell he was very ambitious from the word go.
Yeah, his character's his character's real simple in this movie, but there's just something about what Al Pacino brings to it that just makes it so. He's such a fun character.
Without him, or like probably a select few of actors, this movie would have sucked.
Yeah,
it wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, it definitely wouldn't have been as good. I was honestly coming back to this after watching it probably like fucking 10 years ago. I was honestly kind of disappointed. I think I'd built this movie up to be like some kind of like, I don't know, in my head this was like one of those like penultimate gangster movies and like one of the best. And like just coming back to it, it's like, yeah, Al Pacino's good in it, but I don't know, the writing's kind of like
the montage is kind of like
I like
cheesy.
the montage. I
mean, the montage is funny. I like it, but it's not something you would see in The Godfather.
Yeah.
We're not going to watch Godfather 3 in the middle.
That's exactly what I mean. I was thinking that this movie was like as artistic as the fucking Godfather, and that's how good it was. And there are some shots that are great. Everyone talks about the world is your scene. That shot is in the original, but it's different. In the original, he like opens up his little blinds, and he doesn't see a blimp. He sees like a little billboard, and it says "The world is yours." And it's like
that was actually kind of cool. I like.
Yeah,
that.
he like brings the little stand-in for whoever was Michelle Pfeiffer's character in the 1932 version, and he's like, "Look at that! It says the world is yours." That's literally the scene. They make it a lot cooler in this one, where he just sees it on the blimp, and he's like, and then it plays that music, and it's like, ooh, I get chills. Ooh.
Yeah, that was cool. I mean, like I said, you can't really criticize like a 30s movie.
Yeah.
For like, this was like the beginning of like sound features. You're like, that was getting really popular. Like I guess towards the 20s, like it was more financially that they could do it. So them trying to express something to people, you have to understand they're going from silent films that had like little captions that are written out.
The 1932 version didn't even have any music in it. Like
well, Dracula didn't have any.
Yeah,
in that right there. But it's just funny. You're going from, like, when it comes to people like criticizing older movies. I'm not saying you were.
Yeah.
But like you're going from silent films that has literally like she makes the action of yelling and it shows her go
yeah.
And it's like a pop-up film.
Yeah.
To like these guys are trying to like, how do we express this on television? Oh, just map it out like, hey, look at the sign,
Look what it says. Do you guys want to talk about the score? Because I love the score in this movie.
Oh, the score is amazing.
Yeah, even
I really wasn't paying attention to it.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not trying to be like I just because I was so like taken in by the story. I guess I wasn't paying much attention to the score.
I'll let Cody continue. What were you saying, Cody? Sorry.
There's something about that 80s synth in like drum music that just gets me. And this music or this movie,
like, how
of course,
does it
has
get
it
you?
in spades.
Yeah, and it's not like trying to, or it's not like fucking Stranger Things where it's like, okay, we get it, you're in the fucking 80s.
Yeah,
it's like,
Stranger Things is like very like, it's like all over the place. But this is like, it's very natural, and of course it would be because of when it was made. But
yeah,
just listening to the score, it's fantastic. The only thing I didn't like was during the montage and they start playing that.
Push it to the limit. I like that song.
Push it to the limit. Yeah, it's kind of.
I think
dumb.
it's funny, but
So like you see in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, push it to the limit.
But Giorgio Moroder did the score for this. I think he did the score. Let me see what else he's done real quick. He did Scarface, Neverending Story.
Wow.
That's about it. Superman 3. But okay, but yeah, really. I love the score in this movie, and I even love the songs that play in the clubs, and like the dance.
So you said he did Superman 3?
Yeah, he did Superman 3.
He didn't do anything much else?
He did Neverending Story. Well, he did other movies too, but none of them popped out to me.
Yeah, that's interesting that he did Superman.
Superman 3 is the one with Richard Pryor in it, right?
Maybe. The only one I really remember those is like, for some reason I like Superman 4 because of Nuclear Man. I don't know. I thought he looked cool. He had like long blonde hair. I'm like, this guy's like the ultimate warrior. But
But yeah, the score in this movie is great. I love the little scenes where it zooms in on Al Pacino's eyes when he gets pissed off, and it's like, I love that shit. That's great. It really just like the score makes this fucking movie. It's really one of the biggest fucking parts of it that makes it so good.
Yeah, I don't know why I wasn't paying much attention. I guess I was just like so focused on the movie instead of like focusing on the score, because usually that's something I pay attention to. But for this time, I mean, I was just sucked into the movie. Everything kind of fit together in this movie. Me watching it, other than the one thing I don't like, we'll get into. But I loved everything about this movie. Like, spoiler alert when we get to like recommendations, like. It wasn't as good as The Godfather, and like I said, I was extremely surprised how much I liked The Godfather. Yeah, because I've never seen that. I was surprised how much I actually liked this movie, because there were some scenes, intentionally or maybe unintentionally, that were hilarious. Like your turn. I know Tony's a dick in this movie, but I kind of feel bad for his character.
Yeah, you're supposed to like him. He's like that twisted gangster, But
you can tell
because there's so many scenes that are just like, because this is a very like.
Him not wanting to kill the guy with his kids and wife.
That was fucking awesome. That is like the fucking most like
emotional you get in the movie.
He's like, piece of shit. You think I'm fucking worm?
And then he's like, no, fuck you. And he shoots the dude right there. And that guy, you guys won't know this, but the guy who is doing like the whole bomb thing.
Yeah.
He is the landlord in the first Ace Ventura movie. So Ace Ventura, when Ace Ventura goes to his little thing, he goes, Ventura.
Same universe.
Same universe.
Yeah.
He's dead now, though. But Jim Carrey goes, yes, Satan? He turns around and goes, oh, I thought it was somebody else.
But yes, fucking, like, when Al Pacino gets mad, it's so fucking, like, convincing.
No, fuck you! And like, oh.
Yeah. It's really good. Like, the only time I think I've ever, the only other time I've seen, like, a film or, like, a TV show, like, accurately kind of convince anger is probably Tony Soprano in fucking, The Sopranos.
Don't know what you're talking about, man. Don't know what you're talking about.
But, he'll, like,
Tony Soprano from that one show about the Italian mob.
Whatever that one is.
That shit was pretty good. He was like, I'm like, what the hell is he talking about? I've actually never seen The Sopranos.
It's pretty good.
The one with the lasagna in it.
Saga. The
gabagool. Italian thing.
The fucking gabagool pussy.
This town is a giant lasagna just waiting to get fucked, huh?
This bit that Owen's about to do, I guess I'll be chiming in with him. We had this idea before we even did this podcast. I think
we should put this after I do it. I think I should just cold do the bit.
Okay.
I should be like, all right, well, I have a...
pussy.
I have a big pussy here. I have a little plot synopsis that me and the boys have
put together,
written up here.
But the funny thing was, we did this way before we even decided to do a podcast.
Yeah.
We'd bought this. Hey, let's fucking have fun with this. Remember?
Yeah. But anyways, here's the plot synopsis for Scarface here.
Can't wait to hear this.
I
don't know anything. I'm not looking at the book. I'm just going to hear Owen.
All right. Can't remember all the moist, twisted turns found in the plot of Penis Face? Well, here's your chance to revisit the story of this tiny Hollywood film. Scarface follows the sticky life of gun-wielding dick doctor named Tony Funkytown.
He's my dick doctor.
A Cuban immigrant who will stop at nothing to become Miami's number 34 plus 35 butt dealer. When Tony first sets the stink in America, he comes quickly, realizing that fisting dishes isn't for him. So he and his tangy friend Manny start pooping and selling illegal pussies.
I'm surprised you used any of my words I used, man.
Before long, Tony is in love with his boss's Bigfoot and plotting. All right.
I just imagine Frank's foot. Frank's foot. I love you.
He's like sitting in the booth, and he's like, he takes off Frank's shoe, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to get out of here?"
Beautiful.
His foot's like,
"You want to go dance?"
He's like, "Come on, you want to dance, baby? You look like you haven't been fucked."
Frank's like, "What the fuck is going on?"
He's like, "Find your own foot. Find your own foot, Montana." Hey, I'm trying, man.
Don't underestimate the other guy's foot.
The other guy's toe jam. Tony is in love with his boss's Bigfoot and plotting his own drug empire. With the help of a Bolivian drug lord named Alejandro Twinkie.
Sorry.
Sadly, things don't go according to plan for Tony after he deliberately doesn't eat a journalist and ends up shot to death inside his opulent pussy. So
that was a very good plot synopsis.
That was a plot synopsis. So that was the so a year ago before we had I think it was like a year ago.
Yeah, it was close.
Right before we had started this, we had saw this Mad Lib Scarface book, and we thought it would be funny to get it and do a little bit on the podcast. I don't know if we were thinking if we ever did Scarface to do it or to just do it like randomly. But it has finally come to fruition after all this time.
It was beautiful. That was a good setup. There was quite a few of the words I actually picked. The 34 plus 35 Dick Doctor was great.
Yeah, they sent me, I gave them a list of what I needed, and I picked from that list which one I thought was funny. And I hope I evened them out so I didn't hurt any of your guys' feelings. I have two more. I might read one more later on. You want me just to
Oh, yeah, we'll save it to the end.
Yeah.
We'll have to leave it off.
I'll probably just spring it some other time.
What was your guys' like... Okay, the beginning of the movie, I was laughing a lot.
Yeah,
like the whole you should have just told him you were a horse and they would have let you out.
Yeah,
and him because he said sanitation, and he should have said no, sanitarium.
Sanitarium. I told you sanitarium.
The whole your turn. What was the scene that you guys kind of locked you in? Like, okay, wow, this movie's kind of a little serious.
Shit.
For you,
it's probably I think the fucking. I don't know, because there's many, like, funny scenes afterwards, but... Yeah, there's, like, a certain point where this game really doesn't have any, like, brevity to it, or, like, not brevity, that's not the word I'm looking for.
Levity.
Yeah, levity is the word I'm looking for. There's no, like, lightheartedness after a certain point. I think that point is probably when Tony gets busted, and that on is, like, when it starts hitting the fan and, like, shit starts getting, like, depressing. Or maybe...
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's around it.
What about you, Cody?
Repeat the question again.
Oh, I was just saying, like, okay, there's obviously some scenes in this movie that are kind of funny, and you kind of like, I mean, there was a certain point where I actually started taking this movie seriously. I'm like, oh shit, like I kind of got locked in. So, what was the scene for you, if there was a scene?
I don't know, because a lot of the scenes that are supposed to be humorous beyond the beginning, I think once you get to the motel scene where they cut up his friend with the chainsaw, like every other attempt to be lighthearted after that just kind of it didn't really hit for me, because in the back of my mind I'm always just thinking about like how horrible these people actually are.
Yeah. You didn't like the scene where he goes, "Your turn," with the fun where he shoots him in the head?
Your turn. He goes, "Hey asshole, your turn."
When he chases him down the street after his buddy gets cut up.
Yeah, I actually couldn't understand what he said. So
yeah, but I watched it like 4 times. That's what we were laughing about earlier. But he goes, "Hey asshole, your turn!"
Yeah,
and then
where
he just shoots him.
Yeah, right in front of the other hotel.
Yeah.
For me, it was when his buddy, the second in command to Frank, they hung him from the helicopter.
Yeah.
That scene was like, I mean, the whole like bathtub when he's cutting his buddy was pretty fucked up.
Yeah,
but
and you don't even see anything either.
Yeah,
because this was around, and we talked about it earlier on the Friday the 13th episode.
Censors.
Yeah,
like
the MPAA was getting kind of pissed off with like violence in movies. They were going to give this movie an X rating, but
X gonna give it to you.
X gonna give it to you. We gonna fuck it to you. But somehow the producers, they like convinced them that this was R-rated and not X-rated. But they really don't show anything in that bathroom scene. But it is always like stuck with me because like just that shot of his eyes and like his fucking like eye twitches.
Yeah,
the blood fucking splatters all over his eyes and stuff.
Yeah, I think it was it. But when they was looking up, like Soto, the guy down in Colombia, Bolivia.
Sosa,
my bad. Sosa gives him like, your friend was an informant to the police, and he gives him the thing. He looks up, and he's already been beat the fuck up, and he's got the rope tied around him. I thought he was just tied up, and they were just gonna throw him into the water. They fucking hung his ass from the helicopter.
Yeah,
and
it looks real too.
Oh my god! I was like, Jesus Christ! And after that, it was like. There wasn't many funny moments other than Tony saying something weird, and you're just like, "Oh, that's funny."
That was a big criticism that a lot of the reviewers did have with this movie. They were just
family friendly.
Not too much that, just that it was like a really like just mean kind of like miserable movie.
Oh yeah, it's very depressing, and
I wasn't depressed by it.
You mentioned earlier you said how you're supposed to kind of like Tony.
Yeah,
but I never liked him. I mean, it was
Manny's the most likable character in the entire thing. It's Manny.
Manny, is that his like best friend?
Yeah, that's his friend that he shoots.
Hey, I gotta talk about that scene though. When he goes, "Hey, the girl's like this." He just sticks out his head a little bit. He goes, "You think you can get this girl?" He goes, "I think so." And then he sits down next to his kids, like, "Hey, watch my friend. He's about to stick his tongue out."
It works. She's like, "Oh, you're so fucking sexy."
And she's actually looking like, "Hey there," and then he does that. She slaps the piss out of him, man.
I will admit that was pretty funny.
That was funny.
Yeah. So I mean, Manny is that. There's some things about Tony though. I do like.
Yeah, you're supposed to like.
I don't like. Obviously, I don't relate to him, but the whole like, okay, they want to fucking blow this dude up and shit like that. And like I said, I can get detached from it because it's a movie. But like when they bring the kids and the wife into it, and he says, "You said they were in another car." He goes, "That's what they've been doing the last 2 weeks. It doesn't make any sense."
Yeah.
And the whole thing.
And then the guy's just like, "Shut up!" And he's like, "Piece of shit, you die, motherfucker!"
Because he wants to have kids.
Yeah.
Well, he's made that's all fine and good that he has some morality when it comes to like innocent people that aren't involved in the business, but I mean, look at every other terrible thing that he does in that film.
Yeah, but everybody's terrible in this movie, though.
Yeah,
he ends up killing his best friend just because he was sleeping with his sister.
Yeah, but he feels bad for it afterwards.
Yeah, at the very end, he's like,
"Oh shit, man!" That's why he's like all doped up on coke because he's like, "Fuck, I really fucked up."
Yeah, but everybody, like, literally everybody in this movie is terrible, though. There's not one good person other than his mother.
I mean, that moment just exemplifies Tony as a character. I mean, he's reckless, he's rash. He definitely has anger issues, and without even asking what's going on, his first response to that is pull a gun out and shoot.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I guess I can get into it. That's the one thing I didn't like about this movie. The relationship or whatever he has with his sister is very weird. That's not a father thing. It's not a father-brother figure thing. No, that's like he's kind of into his sister, the way he holds her and gives her a hug and shit like that. It was really fucking weird throughout the whole fucking movie. And so, like, the whole last scene Cody was talking about, like, when she's going to, he thinks it's a really well acted. That's just uncomfortable because, I mean, that's his sister and she's pretty much got her titties out almost.
Nice.
Well, I'm not saying...
That's really uncomfortable. That's why I don't like the scene. I mean, I'm not saying the scene's not
That's
great
what she's
acting.
saying. She's saying that she's, like, as uncomfortable with it, kind of.
Yeah, but literally every guy that she's been around, Tony freaks out and gets pissed off.
Yeah, and like she's like sick of it at that point. I mean, he just killed her husband, so like now she's like trying to kill him.
He didn't know that was her husband. He just thought his buddy who couldn't get laid throughout the whole fucking movie is hooking up with his sister because she's young and naive.
Yeah.
I mean, the reason I think that scene is so great isn't that it's not uncomfortable, because it is an uncomfortable scene, but it is very well acted and it's very well written. You know, she walks in and she starts saying all that stuff and you think, you know, what's going on? And she's sort of she's taunting him.
It's basically, that scene is meant to stick with you, like how it stuck with you, Lance.
Yeah. It's almost like she's trying to. It's almost like she's trying to distract him because she does want to kill him, you know, and he does seem very confused as to what's going on. So,
yeah, if they were trying to portray it as almost a father figure jealousy, they didn't do a very good job. Other than the one line Manny says, he's like, "Look, it's like a father thing with you, you know. He's your big brother and shit like that." No, it just looks. It's just kind of weird.
Maybe
that's the way I took it, but I could be 100% wrong. That's just my opinion.
That's your interpretation.
That's just, and that's the only thing I really don't like about the movie.
I guess it's a valid interpretation to have. I guess.
Unless it's about the Last Jedi, then it's not.
Yeah. This is directed by Rian Johnson, of course.
It's so subversive. But yeah, we hadn't done a fucking Last Jedi bit in a while, so I had to throw that in there.
Yeah.
In the middle of nowhere, with Eustace back.
We have to bring the courage back.
We hadn't done that in a while.
The things I do for pussy. For a big pussy.
You stupid dog. I need some more blow. Booga, booga, booga. But yeah, I mean, that's the only complaint I had. That was just weird. Everything else was like...
My only complaint is
Al Pacino. This is definitely like the Al Pacino show, this movie, which is fine.
That there's only one pair of titties that you really get to see in the movie.
Man, I tell you what, the blonde chick had some nice ones.
Those were good titties.
The nipples were like... little,
they were like Faye Reagan titties, if you would.
Yeah.
If you would let a man.
They were better than the titties you saw in The Godfather.
Yeah. You see titties in The Godfather?
Yeah, that one chick he marries in the Italian village, he gets blown up in the car.
Oh, yeah. I liked her titties, though. Welcome to the titty review.
This is the titty comparison show, which my girlfriend will fucking hate. Like, where in the fuck does Tony get the money to pay the guy he makes the deal with? Him and Frank have split up, but you don't realize it.
It happens. It's supposed to be like a time lapse over a series of years, because the movie starts in 1981, and then it passes time over into where, present day, when it took place, 1983. So, over the course of that time, Tony had done shit by himself without Frank.
Oh, because I didn't realize it was supposed to be a time lapse. That's my bad.
Yeah. Because the only real indication you get of that is Tony's when he's talking to his sister, and he's like, or she says, she's like, I'm 20 now. And like in the beginning, he was like, you're 19. What if he just forgot her age and he was like, you're, how old are you?
You're 14.
You're like 13, I think. You shouldn't be fucking guys in the bathroom. It's disgusting.
Yeah, that thing was kind of. That's kind of a slutty thing too.
Yeah.
Of course, she doesn't. I mean,
do you think he was
kind of doped up too?
He was in the right that time.
Well, not when he fucking. I mean, he slapped the piss out of her, man.
Yeah.
I know that was a sound effect, but damn,
it was kind of real.
Yeah. But it's Hollywood though. There's absolutely nothing real about Hollywood.
Say goodnight to the bad guy.
Say hello to the bad guy. Say goodnight to my little friend.
Say goodnight to
That's what I say to my girlfriend every night. Say goodnight to my little friend on Snapchat. Damn. I'm going to do that now from now on.
All right. What else do we want to talk about?
There's a lot of cocaine.
There is a lot.
I do find it funny though. Not funny. Kind of accurate, because you sit there and you talk to people of Hispanic heritage. Like, people of Spain look down on people from Mexico, and Puerto Ricans look down on Mexicans. And there is a thing. They have obviously a very baseline similar language with their own variants to it.
Yeah.
But they very much do not like each other. And it's like this with the Cubans and the Colombians. And
he's like, I hate Colombians.
Yeah. He's like, no, I don't fuck with that. And shit like that. So that was just kind of like, that was kind of accurate, that thing.
Yeah.
I liked how, like, that one guy at the beginning who was like Fidel Castro's right-hand man at the first.
Yeah.
But he was now like a war criminal or whatever.
Yeah.
Not a war. He was a refugee. He was the tallest motherfucker. All the Cubans are short, and he's like fucking 6'4" walking around looking like a fucking.
He has his little hat on and shit. He's like, I'm not conspicuous at all.
Yeah, he's like, hey guys, what's going on?
Dude,
Dude, you're 6'4". Everybody else is 5'8". Come on, people.
I love that scene. That's a really good scene where he stabs him. He's
like,
from a friend you fucked
in the butt.
What did y'all think of his mansion at the end? Like the design of it.
I think Ronald Reagan has good taste. He said it was Ronald Reagan.
No, that Frank's mansion was the Reagan estate in Miami.
Frank's. Okay.
I don't know if Tony's mansion.
That was the Nixon mansion.
Is in Miami. I don't know.
I
can look it up right now.
I thought it was beautiful, like the white marble and shit like that. That was pretty cool.
Well, I thought the design, like when he walks into his office and you got all like the black and gold and with like the red carpet rolling in there, I thought it looked awesome.
I used to think it was ugly when I was a kid, but now I love that shit. I think it's like pretty.
This is gonna sound really weird too, but Frank's room that he does business with, you know, he's got that wallpaper where his door is with like palm trees and shit. But I just found it unique when he opened the door. Like everything about the wallpaper was like perfect. Like I watched it scene, I'm like, I don't know why I noticed the wallpaper at all, but the wallpaper, like it goes into the door jamb and it's like the fucking tree line is perfect. There's no ruffles in it. It fits perfectly. I'm like, that's actually really well done. I don't know why I thought that, but that was something that popped in my head.
He paid someone a lot of money to do that perfectly.
He gave him some
the mansion is in Santa Barbara.
Really?
I don't think anyone buys it. I think it's for sale for like $12 million.
Are you trying to tell me that this movie isn't authentic to Miami and the culture?
I think that it does a really good job of portraying like Miami, kind of like.
But it's betraying our expectation because it's filming in California.
Yeah,
I guess for a southerner like me, California and Miami, you show me two different beaches, they're gonna look the fucking same.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
going back to Frank, there is something I wanted to talk about. When
Robert Loggia,
after the attempt on Tony's life, and he makes the whole plan of like, call him at 3:00 exactly, and he shows up. And he's got his gun drawn, and he's got the two guys with him, of course.
What if he
got guns drawn?
What if he got in traffic and he was like, "Fuck, I'm gonna be late. I can't make it."
The thing that caught me off guard is like, if you're a high level drug lord like Frank was, why would you not have some kind of plan in case something like this ever happened? Because he is like just completely defenseless. When
Tony did walk up in it.
It's even more because at least he has like one bodyguard, like a cop with him. But in the original, I saw the clip of the scene, and he just walks into the character who is Tony walks into his boss's office, and there's just no one else in there. It's just him and like it's just him, Tony, and Tony's like little friend. That's it.
His penis?
Yeah, his little friend that he says hello to.
He's like, look at this. He just puts it on the table. Thump.
I feel
and then Cody goes, "Is somebody tapping the table again?"
Everybody in the world has done the little friend joke. That's like such a. And he pulls out his cock. Say hello to my little friend.
Yeah, that was weird. He just kind of walks in the dealership, no big deal.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize, it took me until that scene, that Frank, his front business was a car dealership.
Yeah.
Because I was like, where the fuck are they getting this car? Because, Tony's going to get another car because she didn't want to ride in that Cadillac.
Yeah.
I'm like, where the fuck is he going to get another car just like that? I was like, I didn't realize that was Frank's. That's all Frank's anyway.
Yeah.
So, because I thought Tony was going to have to pay for it. And it didn't seem like he was.
I didn't pick up on that, actually.
I just picked on it up to as we talk about it now.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit. So
I now just realized that, yeah. I guess he probably didn't pay for it. He probably just got it because Frank owns it. And Frank was like, yeah, sure.
Yeah. And Frank. You do notice I wouldn't say so much that he doesn't have a backbone, but Tony kept saying, that guy's soft.
He had no balls.
Yeah. And
what did it mean when he said the only thing that gives you orders in this world is balls? Like, what?
he's Tony's gay.
My boss give me my orders.
And what's coming in you, Tony?
I think that my interpretation of him saying that was like, people that push their way around are the only ones that are going to give orders. Yeah. If you don't want to stand up. So that was Tony challenging him, even with him standing up and him sitting down, and Tony was challenging him. It was like the only thing giving orders was balls. And then Frank just backs down and says, come on, we're leaving.
The worst.
And even though Frank was standing up to him, like standing up, and Tony was sitting down, he had Frank back down and just completely pussified.
Frank's a fucking bitch. Robert Loggia, this is an attack on your character.
Hey, yeah, he's good. I like Robert Loggia.
Robert Loggia. What about the clown dying? That's the saddest part of the fucking movie.
The what now?
The big clown with the big head.
Yeah, that thing was weird. I didn't understand
it was fucking. I remember as a kid, it always scared me. The weird little clown.
I mean, he looks like the fat guy in the Popeye commercials that love cheeseburgers. I'm not talking about me.
He just looks fucking scary. I'm glad they killed him. I was like, get this fucking thing off screen. It's fucking disgusting. My biggest thing is,
how in the fuck did these guys get into the front table like that?
Yeah,
with those guns. Like the scene was just like, it kind of just cuts to after that. Tony's just sitting there getting drunk and. That's the guy, I can't remember his name, the one doing the stand-up comedy. Yeah. But he played on one of the Law & Order shows, but he was a comedian, and Hulk Hogan actually choked him out on his TV show one time, and he fell and smacked the back of his head on the concrete floor and then sued the WWF in the 80s. Because he accused wrestling of being fake. So Hogan was like, hey, brother, let me do this to you. And he just fucking knocked his ass out.
Was it Andy Kaufman?
No. I'm talking about the guy in this movie doing the little stand-up.
The MC, as he's titled in the
the guy that was like, hey, he's doing kind of a couple racist jokes, everybody's laughing, doing all this stupid shit, and then but it keeps cutting to the guys with the guns.
His name is Richard Belzer.
Yes, that's the one. Hogan, doing promotion of the original WrestleMania, going back to wrestling. He went on his talk show he had at the time, and I think Richard was making fun of wrestling, and Hogan just put him in a front headlock choke, and literally just had him for like 10 seconds, and he let him go, and he fell like a sack of bricks and smacked his head on the back of the floor. He pops up and goes, hey, we'll be right back, and it seemed like because he was just in a concussion and completely out of it. He ended up suing the WWF and got a little money for it, though. But
yeah, it says here he sued Hulk Hogan himself.
Yeah, he's just a fucking punk, though, anyway.
His stand-up sucked.
He was also Detective Munch in Law and Order.
See, I told you Law and Order.
We love that guy.
Yeah, I never realized who it was at the time. I mean, he did a lot. That was the Ice-T era of Law and Order, so I don't see a lot of that. I'm not saying I just don't see that in the rotation. My dad watches that show. I don't see that a lot in the rotation. Maybe I'm just missing it, but
it's called
You start watching SVU and you'll get sucked into that for like 8 hours.
Yeah, they are good shows though.
With Ice-T always pointing out obvious things for the audience.
He's like,
telling me that this guy works at the school and touches little girls?
Angie gay.
Hey, there is a scene, I've shown it to Owen a couple times, in Law & Order. Ice-T's talking to this dude, and he's like, I'm not gay. I have sex with men, but relationships with women. And then Ice-T goes,
he's like, that means he gay.
And Owen sounds just, that means you get. And of course, he sounds feminine anyway, Ice-T does, so it's hilarious.
Yeah, my girlfriend, when she used to watch it, I'd always be like, fucking Ice-T is like, all the lines he has are so fucking stupid in this. And I used to do impressions of him, and I'd be like, they call it cum sock soda. It's when you put a cum sock in some soda and then you drink it. Makes the kids go crazy. That's like all of his fucking lines when they talk about drugs. He's like, it's called whoopity-doo. You put it in your ass. It makes the kids go crazy.
That's all his lines are in that show, period. He just always like points out something that should be obvious just so the audience understands what they're trying to get across.
Well, look, guys, okay, we talked about this earlier. We're coming from the silent films and the Law and Order with Ice-T, so he's having to express so everybody understands. Everybody knows what they're talking about.
We go from fucking 10,000 Leagues Under the Sea to Law and Order SVU just the fucking year after.
So Cody, make sure you don't cut out.
That means he gay.
That means yeah. He goes. That means
he had to spell that out for the audience too. They were like, he's making a lot of sense.
Wait a minute, is he actually gay?
Yeah, I don't. It makes sense, He does have relationships with
girls.
Ice-T
said it. I gotta believe it.
He's like, no, audience. That means he's gay.
Here's the thing. The funny, all those Law and Order shows, the Chicago PD show that's now, it's all been produced by the same fucking dude. How rich does that motherfucker have to be?
Millions of dollars.
I mean, good God. Both his Law and Order
John
shows, Law and
Wolfe or
Order, then
something?
do what now, Cody?
His name John Wolfe, I think. Something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, and then like he did, his first show, the first Law and Order went 20 years, and then SVU went 20 years, and it's like, holy shit, dude. The only show that ever went 20 years is like Gunsmoke, 21.
Oh,
years.
his name's Dick Wolf, not John Wolf.
How about a wolf's dick? Look, I just got done
John
watching
Wolfe
Twilight.
is-
I apologize.
Awooga, awooga.
Yeah, the whole thing with Michelle Pfeiffer, I can't remember her name. What's her name? Elvira?
Elvira.
Fuck you. Okay. Me and Cody have the accent, not you.
Elvira.
So what happens to her?
She just leaves.
What?
She just leaves.
Remember, she leaves. She goes like, "I'm not going home with anybody."
You're like, what?
Well,
How
there's a
dare
moment-
she?
There's a brief moment where I had to get up to do something, and the movie was still running. The last time I remember seeing her was the scene where he's in the hot tub.
Yeah.
Oh,
And,
there's one more scene. Did you not see the scene where he
Say goodnight to the bad guy.
So yeah, he's like, "You people need me, so you can point your fingers and say, there's the bad guy." You didn't see that scene?
Yeah, no, I must not have seen that scene.
Damn, that was a good scene too.
Yeah,
that
that
must
was a
have
really
been
good
that must
scene.
have been in like the 5 minutes I was up doing something.
Damn, we can't believe you, Cody.
Yeah, man. There's a fucking pause button, bro.
Damn, man.
Hey,
But
man.
yeah, that was the whole that was good. But he has this thing. He goes, he's already fucked up drunk, but he says, "Look at her. She does so much fucking coke. Her fucking what does he say?
He's
she's,
like, her
she's
womb
barren."
Yeah, her womb is bad.
And he's
And
like,
then-
she
like,
can't even
don't say
bear
that.
me no kids and shit like that.
And he's like, please, bro, don't say that at the dinner table.
And
bro."
then, of course, Manny's like, "Oh, come on, man." He's trying to get her home. And she goes, "I'm not going home with you. I'm not going home with anybody. I'm going home alone." He goes, "I'm leaving you."
Lost in New York.
Yes. Home Alone. I'm going
Then she
Home
gets,
Alone
then she gets
2,
lost in Gotham City.
Lost in New York.
And then she puts her hands on her face and goes, ah!
But yeah, her character, I think Tony's character actually did love her as much as he could love somebody.
I don't know. He seemed like he kind of got fed up with her after a while.
Well, I mean, I think he got fed up with her drug habit because all she's doing was just using his supply.
Yeah,
And then
she's pretty apathetic.
He's like talking to Manny or whatever, and she's like butting in, and he's like making fun of her. He's like, "Oh, you hear that? You hear that?" And then starts mocking her.
Yeah.
Yeah. She
Good-
just seems
good
like
talk,
somebody
guys.
that.
Good talk.
No. I'm trying to picture that scene. Sorry, Cody.
It's the
yeah.
It's the hot tub scene.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah. He's
he's
like,
like
I was
watching
just
TV, and
kidding.
He's
Like
"What
that
do you
ever
know about
works in a
making
fight with
money?
your
All you do
girlfriend."
is lay around and wait for me to fuck you or whatever.
Why don't you get a job or something? Why don't you get
Bag groceries.
Why don't you get a job? Or
Yeah, she is somebody. I don't feel sorry for her. What'd you say?
I just was saying, why don't
Oh,
you get a
okay.
job? Or
What did Cody say though? The
He
bag
So why don't you
groceries.
go bag some groceries.
Yeah, that is true. No, with her, she. I don't feel bad for her character at all
Oh,
because she's
no.
just with people for money and drugs and shit like that.
Yeah, I mean she's like a very generic
She's very
trophy
vapid.
wife,
Yeah, very vapid person.
Yeah.
And she's bored with everything because she has everything.
I mean, I didn't want to see her die, at the end, but I'm glad she left before the big fucking raid.
I think I would rather her die than his sister though.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know.
But I understand the impact of it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like I said, she's got the personality of a fucking wet wood board. So
when
it's like
when
He's like, "My
when the
tiger."
sister gets shot, the first thing that came across my mind was like I
Ooh.
felt bad for the mom.
yeah.
Obviously you never see the result of any of that, but just thinking about like she sent Tony
You're thinking
to
too
go
deep, Cody.
find her, and then the end result is that she ends up getting killed.
That part sucks. 'Cause her mom just. I was wondering, and of course, obviously, when the scene plays out, she was, why was she not happy to see Tony after all those years?
Tony.
And then she was like, Tony, and then she had like a smirk, like one or two smirks in the whole thing. But the whole time she just looked at him like, fucking worried eyes.
Yeah, I always knew that. Like immediately, she was like, "This guy, like my son, is a piece of shit."
Well, I didn't. I thought it was like, Mama. She goes, "I'm not your mother." I thought I was waiting for that. I was so
She's
used
like,
to-
"Who are you?"
it's like, who are you? You know, he's like, I'm your son. I'm your
wait, wrong address. Sorry.
I'm your son, mother.
He's like, a boy's first friend is his mother.
He puts fucking rat poison in your coffee.
What if Tony did survive?
Cuban
Okay,
coffee.
let's talk about this hypothetical, not the video game hypothetical. If Tony survived, do you think he'd have his sister's body stuffed and put up in the room, looking out the window? And he'd be
It's funny because in the game, I know we're not. You just said.
Yeah, what happens in the game?
In the game, you can buy this little urn that has your ashes and Manny's ashes, and I always thought it was so weird because it's like you like literally killed your friend and you basically killed her. Why would you keep a little ash urn?
Oh, I was hoping he'd be like Manny, Manny
stuffed like a fucking stuffed. This tiger is also stuffed.
Yeah, I was waiting for Tony to be like talking in her voice,
and he's like
moving around, he's wearing a wig and a dress. Is like, "You want me, Tony? No, you fucking bitch! I do not." It's like Psycho with the cuss word "fuck" in it.
Like fucking fuck this fucking guy, man.
Listen to this fucking punta. Don't you fucking call me punta, Tony? He's here back and forth.
Don't ever fuck me, Tony. Don't ever stick your little friend inside my ass. Don't ever come inside of my ass, Tony.
Oh God!
I'm so sorry, I have to. You fucking cocksucker.
I like how they had the guy he was trying to blow up, the informant from Bolivia, how he's on the Dick Cavett show. And they're like, people are starting to listen. I'm like, dude, this is like, he was like a top news program interview in the 80s and 70s and stuff. I'm like, I'm pretty sure people are more than just listening at this point.
Yeah, I was confused how killing
Don't
him
get to 60 minutes.
It's the United Nations.
Yeah. If anything, him being killed after that interview would probably solidify the things he was saying in the interview.
Yeah, like, how many people are going to fuck with it?
I never thought about that. But yeah, that is kind of stupid.
They're like, we gotta get him before he gets on 60 minutes.
He somehow exploded in his fucking car in a comical fashion with his wife and kids in the car in front of the UN. I guess it had nothing to do with what he was uncovering. So
yeah,
we should have waited till he got in front of a Kroger's.
And it's like the government's already trying to fucking put its foot up like the cocaine business's ass in the early 80s. So it's like he's like, if as long as we brought this guy up in his car, we will be fine.
It will all go away.
No one will ever be able to connect the fucking where are they in fucking Bolivia? They're like, no one will ever be able to connect the Bolivian government to cocaine. No one will ever make that logical assumption as long as you blow this guy up.
I did like the scene of Bolivia when they're there.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of another 80s movie. I don't know, Romancing the Stone. Yeah. Because they're in a jungle trying to get like this map to this jewel.
Rambo
but it's
2.
I can't remember where it's at. Maybe it's like Brazil. But it's like the trees. This is what it reminded me of. And maybe Predator too.
Predator. I'm a predator.
Think about this concept. This movie came out in 83. Predator came out in 87. Like 4 years separate Scarface and Predator.
Carface. Anyways.
But which one's the better movie? Predator or Scarface?
Oh, Predator. I'm sorry. I gotta say Predator for my personal taste.
Damn, bro.
They're like, seriously, guys, what do you guys? Scarface or Predator?
Scarface.
Yeah, I'd say Scarface. I'm sorry.
I
like Predator. I love the Predator.
Come with me. Come in my ass.
Fuck
See,
me.
everything goes back to this.
Fuck me now. Don't ever fuck me, Predator. I'd never fuck over anyone who didn't cover themselves in mud.
We should like mash up these movies, but all Tony's scenes are with Arnold,
the Predator face,
and then the guy
the vagina face,
with Predator,
vagina face, dude. Duh.
No. Predator should be in Manny's spot. He goes, you don't understand. This town's like a big pussy waiting to get fucked. He's like,
this town. Well, what's coming to you, Tony? What's coming in you, Tony? A deep Chico and all the cum in it.
What did y'all think about? What did y'all think about the length of the movie? Do you think it was too long? Did it feel as long as it was?
I remember.
That's what she said.
Like I said, I was surprised that it was as long as it was and uncut. But
you sounded like Hank Hill right there.
I didn't notice it
as long as it was, Bobby.
But I'm gonna bust.
That's in the to you, Cody.
What?
The video is about Hank Hill. He goes, "Oh, I'm about to bust."
Yeah, he's trying to go to the bathroom too.
I I sent it to Owen at like 12 o'clock at night, and when I woke up, I'm like, it popped in my suggestion feed. He goes, "Oh, I'm about to bust," and Owen sends me a message back at 10 minutes later. He goes, "Thanks."
I love the idea that Hank's just trying to find a bathroom in some stranger's house to jack off.
I'll have to send it to Cody. I'm like, anytime we release a Filmoscopy episode, I'm about to bust.
Oh. Fuck, what was I gonna say? Damn it!
What was Cody's question?
We were talking about the length of the movie. Do you think it's too long?
I'm about to bust.
Yeah, the only time I was really surprised because I was really just immersed into this movie, and I really didn't notice the runtime until like after the movie had ended, and I was like, damn, I'd spent like fucking 3 hours watching this.
I think go ahead, Cody. Sorry.
That was like the first thing I noticed because I pulled up YouTube to watch it, and I saw 2 hours and 49 minutes. I was like,
it shows you the runtime on YouTube.
I was like, Owen just likes to pick these long ass movies.
Sorry, I forgot it was so long.
But I will say it doesn't feel like it's that long.
Yeah, I know.
Now, granted, I watched the first hour and then we left for the day, and then when we got back home, I watched the rest of it. But it didn't really feel like it was that long of a movie.
Yeah, but it still felt good though, right? You can still feel it though, right?
Yeah, I think I was more on the Cody side because I rented it on YouTube for me and him. I obviously borrowed Owen's version.
Yeah. Did it feel long for you?
No, I was used to that kind of length.
I've been fucking making a penis joke for like the past minute.
No, I got used to that kind of length. I don't choke on it.
All right. Good.
No. I knew going into it was 2.5 hours. My girlfriend was coming over at this point, like 3.5 hours. So I'm like, okay, I got an hour. For some reason, between all my pausings and rewindings and stuff like that, I still had 20 minutes by the time she showed up. So evidently, it takes me like 4 hours to watch a 2.5 hour movie.
Nice.
But I mean, no, I knew the length going into it, so I kind of looked down at the timer. I'm like, okay, this is how much time I got left. But watching the movie, it didn't feel like a long movie. I enjoyed it. It wasn't Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
Apocalypse Now was like one of those movies you're watching,
plotting.
you're like, fuck me.
That's the only movie that I picked that's long that I've been like, fuck, this movie is so long.
Dude, I'm going to pick the 10 Commandments in a couple months, and this thing's like 2 VHS
Mel Gibson's Passion. Christ.
No, I understand like the whole like shit. I mean, 2 hours is like a perfect movie length. I don't want something that's like an hour and a half. Unless it's something really stupid. 2 inches. But 2.5 inches, holy shit.
3 inches?
Yeah, I think I agree with you where 2 hours is pretty much a sweet spot for the length of a movie.
That's a G spot.
But once you start getting up there toward 3 hours, like it's just like it's a commitment at that point. You know what I mean?
I should pick fucking
Are you okay, Owen?
I should pick Once Upon a Time in America. That movie's fucking 4 hours long.
No, I should, and this will probably piss Cody off. I should pick Once Upon a Time in the West, and like the first 15 minutes of that movie, no one says a fucking word. They just stare at each other. But it's still a good movie. But
Dang, fuck.
Cody's
let Owen get all that out.
No, he's dying over here.
Sorry. I swallowed my spit.
This will be his
He
last
swallowed
episode.
something else.
Unfortunately. I'm going out on a cocaine fucking overdose, bro.
But yeah, the length. I mean, it was long, but by the time we get to the ending of the movie, I was completely immersed in it. I'm like, damn. I mean, I felt bad for Tony. Everything was happening.
What'd you feel about his suit being covered in cocaine?
His what?
You know the part where he's sitting at the chair and his like suit has cocaine all over it.
I wouldn't pay attention to
that. I don't know. It always bothered me. He's like
I noticed it, but I didn't have like a feeling about it.
I don't know. It triggers my little autism brain, and I'm like, what the fuck? Get that shit off your fucking shirt. I like how he's like a fighting game character. Like he has like the same fucking suit, just in different colors. Yeah,
on cocaine.
He just has like recolors, and that's like all you can pick for his outfit.
Now I'm just picturing Tony Montana going, "Shoryuken, pussy."
But yeah, you know what I mean, right? When you like picked an alternate like costume for alternate like costume colors for a fight.
Yeah, like in Street Fighter, like
yeah.
you got like
if you hold down to start, Ryu goes from white and red to dark and blue.
Yeah, it's never a different actual costume. It's just different colors.
Yeah, his like default is his black suit, but if you hit like Y instead of
you get his tiger suit.
You get his blue suit that he wears. or the white suit.
I don't know why I was expecting in that scene for him to like take a big sniff of the cocaine, like just bury his face in it.
He basically did.
Yeah, but I didn't. It wasn't like.
I wonder what they used. Did they? I mean, they couldn't have used actual cocaine. Could they?
That would be powdered sugar. That's just pretty cheap.
Yeah, but like, wouldn't that like damage your nose or some shit?
I think cocaine would.
Well, I don't think you ever actually see him snort any of it.
You see one time when Tony does snort it.
Maybe it was crushed up Smarties.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ!
Smoking some Smarties,
like idiots used to do when I was in high school.
Yo, bro, check this out. I'm gonna crush up the Smartie bag. Dude, fucking cool, bro. Weed. Badass,
Nothing
dude.
cooler than snorting up chalk.
Fuck yeah, bro. I'm getting so fucking high off these Smarties, dude.
Oh man.
Nice.
So you got anything else to talk about this movie?
Here, I have my little description of the scene that I filled out real quick. Drug deals are difficult, even under the most chewy circumstances. Timothy Montana learned this lesson the shitty way in a Miami Beach dick while on his first big job. The deal turned ghetto when he and his fellow cocksmokers found themselves holed at toilet point by a rival dealer and his group of mass debaters. And only got worse when Tony discovered that the guy trying to buy the cocaine had a urethra in his briefcase. Moments later, Tony's friend Bob got nutted to pieces in the bathroom. And it looked like Tony would be the next stupidly. Would be next, sorry. It looked like Tony would be next. Stupidly, Tony's friends Manny and Kumquat came to the rescue, and Tony made it out alive with the cash and a few kilos of ass. That's the one I filled out myself.
You didn't need us at all.
No, I liked the first one too.
Oh, that was good, man. Damn.
Most chewy of circumstances.
He's like, he got a uterus in that briefcase. My wife could use that.
The one that made me laugh when I was filling it out was mass debaters. It said it needed a job, and I was like, no, it needed silly word plural, and I guess I cheated because I used 2 words, but whatever. They're mass debaters, dude. They're debating.
Hey, man, you're just writing in your own book.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna say this on the pod, and I'm gonna admit it to you guys, but
you like me? That means you're gay.
That means I'm gay. But when my roommate's cat gets really stressed, for some reason I think it's funny, and I picked up this word from because this guy on the internet named Chris Chan, he would always call jerking off, he would call it mass debating. And every time I see the cat get stressed, I'm like, they're stressed. They need to relieve their stress. Because what she does is she'll go over there and scratch that post when she's stressed. And I'm like, ooh, Athena, you're so stressed. You need to go mass debate. So
I like when I
better. You have a roommate? I thought you lived with like your girlfriend or something. I live with
my girlfriend.
Well, when they're on and off because they're his roommate.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
I mean, she's not going to listen to this episode. It's fine.
No, probably not.
No, well, it's his girlfriend's sister is his roommate.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to claim her as like a future sister-in-law. He's like, no, fuck that bitch.
Here's my social.
He's not denying it.
Here's my social security card, by the way. Here's my number.
So I guess we get into recommendations.
Yeah, we can go ahead. I'll do my first. Like I said, coming back to this movie, I just hit myself in the nuts with the little book. Coming back into this, the only thing
that gives me orders is balls.
Yeah, now I've lost my fucking balls. First you get the money, then you get the power,
then you get the balls,
then you get your fucking dick exploded off. But coming back to this movie, I was kind of disappointed because it didn't live up to my expectations, really. I mean, it was still great. I was completely enthralled by the movie. I loved it. I think it's just such a magic movie. Magic Mike. It really portrays this specific time period that I really am kind of fascinated by, which is the early 1980s Coke mafioso era.
You just said Coke. I was really inspired by Coke. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I love Pepsi products.
He's like, hey, man, you got the Pepsi, bro?
What'd you say, huh?
What shouldn't say? You got some Pepsi, bro? Hey, get the Pepsi, bro. But
we got this new top of the line shit, Crystal Pepsi.
I got some RC. You trying to rip me off, man? What do you think? I'm a fucking idiot, bro? But yes, I would recommend this movie if you have not seen it to go fucking watch this movie. I don't think.
He sounded like Tony there. I don't think
that it will probably be as amazing now, really. But I mean, yeah, you should still definitely watch it. Okay, Lance, what do you fucking think?
It was the first time watching it. I was extremely happy with it. I wasn't bored through anything. I mean, I'm just saying, like, sometimes you watch a movie the first time, you're like, oh, this is kind of weird. You don't understand it. I was enthralled by the entire movie, so I definitely recommend it. Cody?
Yeah, so I would recommend this movie. First time watching it all the way through. It's great. I don't know if it's something I'll ever go back to, or at least go back to anytime soon, but it's definitely worth watching.
Would you go back to Apocalypse Now right now?
Yeah. Hell no.
We'll make you watch that again.
We're going to do Apocalypse Now Part 2.
Hey, you know what's funny? They're making a remake of this movie.
Of Scarface
It's in,
or Apocalypse Now?
Of Scarface. It's like in development hell. It's supposed to be written by the Coen brothers.
Who were the Coen brothers?
They made The Ballad of Buster Scruggs and... Fuck, what else?
Aren't they the ones that did Dumb and Dumber?
No.
Who are those brothers?
The Mario brothers. Where's my phone?
You're sitting on it. Look up Dumb and Dumber real quick, because it's a brother tandem. Oh, good lord.
Directed by Peter Farrelly and Bobby Farrelly.
Yeah, it's the Farrelly brothers.
Farrelly brothers.
There we go. So that's completely different. I don't know who the Coen brothers are. But yeah, I guess that's it. Cody, what's going to be our next episode, good sir?
So our next episode is going to be on Silent Hill, the
Silent
first one.
Silent Night.
Holy
night. Oh God.
That's my movie choice.
How long is that movie choice, Cody?
It's 2 hours. It's like 2 hours and 5 minutes.
Fucker! I'm just kidding.
It's obviously an adaptation of the game series. We talked about it a little bit on one of our recent podcasts.
I'm actually pretty excited. I've never seen this movie before.
I personally think it's really good. It's actually Silent Hill is one of my favorite video game series of all time. Is that probably actually my favorite video game series of all time?
Yeah, it's one of mine too.
So it'll be interesting to cover this. So we will see y'all next week. Until then,
have a good one, bros.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Bye.